That is so weird. If there's not one, like, even just inkling of interest in this whole stack, I'm gonna be pissed. Guys, I am not looking forward to today's video. I mean, like, I am, but I'm not. I'm conflicted. Hi, I'm Jessica Nicole Dickerson, aka JND, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I am continuing with my unhaul, trying to get rid of some books, find better homes for them. So yeah, if you didn't see my last unhaul video, I uploaded it last week. Check it out. I'll link it somewhere in the description or whatever. So in that video, I mentioned a bazillion times about how I didn't know if I should get rid of a book. I might do a separate video of reading the first chapter of every book. So I'm gonna put this in the pile, and I might do the video of trying it a chapter. I want to try the first chapter of this. So I've seen people do this challenge where they try and read a chapter of the book. Normally this challenge is to determine whether or not you want to continue reading this book, just like to choose your TBR. So how I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna try the chapter and see if I actually keep the book. If it pulled my interest, I will be sharing the first sentence with you because I love doing that. Y'all, I'm really nervous because I really think I'm either gonna love all the books and want to keep them and I shouldn't, or I'm gonna hate them all and be like, God, I just wasted 2 hours reading a bunch of books I don't wanna read. So yeah, let me get my stack. So out of the 24 books that I unhauled in my last video, I have 9 here that I'm going to kind of read through, see if I want to keep them or not. It was hard to pick these 9 because I'm like, I'm a very indecisive person, so I feel like everyone's gonna relate to that. But yes, let's dive in. I'm also kind of gonna let myself not read the full chapter if I'm not enjoying the book, just because I don't want to waste like 2 hours. I'm a slow reader, man. 10 pages is gonna take me like 20 minutes. So 9 books, do the math for me because it's a lot of time wasted and I don't want to do that. So we are starting off with The Sky is Everywhere. What an odd title, like obviously the sky's everywhere. By Jenny Nelson. So I love Jenny Nelson's I'll Give You the Sun. So I purchased this book, literally had it for 5 years and haven't read it. And here is the first sentence. Graham is worried about me. I'm already like really nervous because let's check out the synopsis really fast because I don't even know what this is about. Okay, this description is really weird already because it's like adrift after her sister Bailey's sudden death. Immediately I'm like, damn, this is gonna hit. Next sentence. Leanie finds herself torn between quite seductive Toby, Bailey's boyfriend who shares her grief, or Joe, the new boy in town who bursts with life and music genius. Let me just say this description does not make me want to read this just because I trust Jandy Nelson to talk about grief very well, because I'll Give You the Sun really hit me in the feels, but I don't care for like if someone just died and you're now tossed between 2 boys and who you like. I'm like, can't you grieve for 5 seconds? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, and the first chapter is only 3 pages, so I'll be right back. Okay, it was only 3 pages, just finished it. I will be giving this to a new home. I think this could actually be a cool story for someone who is younger and just starting to become more interested in boys and things like that. As a person who is asexual, I could really care less. I think a big turning point for this book is just that she is interested in these 2 guys and she's obviously grieving. I could really care less about hormonal teenagers right now. I'm very sorry. So I'm rehoming it to someone who will enjoy that better. Next, The School for Good and Evil. This one, people commented on my last video saying that the first book is good, the rest of the series is So I'm interested to see if I will actually like this. I feel like this is a middle grade series too. I'm interested to see what's happening, what's going on, what's the dealio, you know? I will also say, this is really stunning. Okay, the first chapter is The Princess and the Witch. The first sentence is, Sophie had waited all her life to be kidnapped. That is so weird. But I guess Sophie might be the princess and she wants to be like rescued from her home. But like, why'd you say it like that? Okay, I just finished the first chapter of this, and though I think the writing is fun, like especially for middle grade, because I feel like middle grade writing really has like leeway to be more fun, lyrical, descriptive. I personally don't like Sophia. She bothered me already in chapter 1, And it might be that she like learns her lesson and like learns how to care for others and doesn't care so much about her appearance later on in like the School of Evil. But yeah, I don't really need that story in my life where like people learn to appreciate others through finally experiencing things themselves. Like it seems like it would be a fun middle grade for someone else to read. I'm like, I rather read stories that aren't just about people who are like prissy learning like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be like that, maybe I should not just care about appearance. Like that's not hard hitting, that's not news to me, because I'm a 24-year-old. I've been knew that. So that's not my, like, if I'm looking for more middle grade and things like that, I'm not really looking for that story anymore. Whereas I can totally understand other kids still reading and enjoying those kinds of stories. Moving to the next book, Kate and Meg Conquer the World. So let's see. This book is supposed to be similar to Fangirl, which is one of my favorite books. The first sentence is, hell is not brimstone and scorched flesh. Hell is being a high school freshman for the second time. Dang, why you get held back? Okay, so this story is about two unlikely friends. Kate has a lot of anxiety and doesn't like talking to people, whereas Meg has ADHD. That tends to like push people away, though she is, it seems, a little bit more outgoing. And these two get paired up for a science project and realize they love video games. So I'm gonna read the first chapter. This book might interest me, might not. I do think if they represent like anxiety and ADHD well. Let me check out this first chapter. Okay, just finished the first chapter. It was from Kate's perspective, who has anxiety, and you kind of see her counting a lot and trying to relax. She starts her second year of being a freshman because she moves to a different school, and that school starts high school in 10th grade, so it's basically like starting fresh at a new school. What an interesting way of putting it, though. Whatever. I think I'm still going to unhaul this because that first chapter really didn't have an inciting incident. It didn't really have any pull at me. Like, she clearly was anxious and she was struggling to find a place to sit and like eat lunch without feeling super alone. And then she went to the library and logged into her like online gaming portal and started playing games online. That was the first chapter, and there was nothing enticing. There is literally nothing that will make me continue wanting to read it. So I'm not hopeful that the story will be compelling, because if the first chapter didn't compel me, I don't know. And I feel like it's just going to be them becoming friends and accepting each other. But the narrative voice didn't grab me, so I'm not gonna hold on to this because I feel like it's gonna be a very straightforward book. Two people who have disorders, learning to either accept, learning how to love and open up, stuff like that. They're gonna figure it out, so good for them. I personally am not invested, so just don't get mad at me. Sorry. Moving to the next book, The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. I don't remember why I even wanted to pick it up, and I never took off the sticker, so now I'm too scared to take it off because I'm like, what if it's just stuck on here permanently? Okay, so there's Street Fight, Sinister Secret, Deadly Danger. Ooh, we love all the alliteration happening. Not too sure. The summary doesn't give me much. I think there's an assassin after somebody, and there's a mission to get a particularly dangerous book. First sentence is, Irene passed the mop across the stone floor in smooth, careful strokes, idly admiring the gleam of wet flagstone in the lantern's light. I mean, not like bad. I feel like this author really likes plugging in words because of like a particularly dangerous book. Ho ho ho. And the alliteration I showed you earlier. Well, I'm gonna read this. We're gonna see what happens. Okay, I just read the first chapter, and though this could be a very interesting fantasy book, I don't think it's not pulling me in. I have so many fantasies on my TBR that I'm really excited for, and this doesn't seem very exciting. So Irene is a spy. She's been like booked, like she got hired to steal this book, and this book has information on the Invisible Library. That's like this place that holds like tons of work that it's supposed to just preserve knowledge and whatnot, stuff like that. She like, it was interesting because she did like do a heist. Like she pretended someone else like opened the window and like was about to escape, so she opens the window and then calls the guards and is like, guys, help, there's someone who stole something, or someone came through, he was scary. And the guy was like, ma'am, go get some tea, you've been through quite an ordeal. And she's just like, okay. So it's like I think she's good at her job. Like, it's interesting because I think she said that the book was already stolen, but in the first chapter she got the book, so I guess it gets stolen from her and then she has to go get it, and she's partnering up with someone later. Interesting, but not interesting enough to hold my attention. Dear God, there's only 4 books left, and so far I have kept none of them. It's not like I'm not trying to keep any of them, but I would, you know, I'm trying to make sure I give away books that I'm actually not interested in. Double checking, and I was kind of hoping to enjoy some of them, you know. The next book I have is The Brilliant Death by Amy Rose Capetta. Let's see, and this one's signed. So fancy. First sentence. When I was a little girl, I thought my father was the king of Vinala. It must be a place. Kind of looks like vanilla. Okay, so this story is about a girl named Theodora, and she is a shapeshifter. So she can literally transform into boys or turn her enemies into boxes and mirrors, which is such a funny example. And then she meets someone who like is training her to master her skill, and then there's like a Mulan bit where now the like palace or the king is demanding everyone like bring a family member, a male family member, to come like join the army and protect the capital. So she transforms into a boy so she can go. So a little bit of Mulan there, which is interesting. So I'm gonna read the first chapter and see what it's about. Okay, so I feel like this first chapter, the beginning, was just like a prologue, and it was interesting because like her father killed somebody and she's a kid and she was like, Daddy, did you have to kill that guy? So that's kind of funny. I don't know if it's gripping enough for me to actually want to keep reading it. Sad to say. Like, I don't care to learn more about it, which is a bummer. But yeah, someone else would like it better. Moving on. Okay, so we have Give the Dark My Love. We'll see if this one is good. Guys, I'm losing steam so fast. Oh my god, what am I doing? If there's not one, like, even just inkling of interest in this whole stack, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, so prologue, first sentence. The warship carried 20 good men and 2 cannons. Fun. Okay, this actually sounds like an interesting synopsis because it's like I have something to look forward to. I feel like when you just say there's 2 girls and they befriend each other and they go through life and things happen, I'm like, unless I really cared about the 2 girls, I don't care. Same with Brilliant Death. Like, oh, people are being poisoned, we need to protect the capital, send people to guard it. So obviously there's just gonna be fighting in between them and stuff. Like, you kind of know how it's going to end. The interesting thing is getting there, and I'm like, if your writing style is not interesting, like, no, I'm not interested in how we get there. But this, the description is, there's a girl who is starting to attend this specific academy. She's trying to learn medicinal alchemy, and there's a plague going through this land, and she's also a scholarship student, so she doesn't really fit in. And then she meets this guy, Gray, and it seems like he gets sick, so she is desperate to find a cure because he ends up being one of her closest friends. So there's something she actually wants and desires that's beyond like, oh, I'm getting paid to find this book. It's like, oh, I'm actually really, like, she really cares about the outcome. But I will say that first sentence was a little underwhelming. Okay, that was an interesting prologue. Thank God we have one that I like. Okay, basically, it's only 3 pages too that grip me, and it's the prologue, but there were, you know, the ships, it mentioned that there were soldiers on a ship and cannons. They're here to arrest someone, and they were talking history, like there's been a lot of wars and stuff, and the Empire is trying to show his might, so they're here to arrest some people. And the first person who steps out is like missing a chunk of their arm, which isn't like unusual. Like, they're missing like their forearm. That's not unusual because of the plague. A lot of people are missing limbs, but then like they kind of act like zombies. How they're in formation, people start pouring out, and like they fire at them, and like their wound is like open and there's like skin splayed, and there's no blood coming out, and they go and still attack these soldiers. So it's very interesting. I like the writing style. It was super gripping, and I really want to continue and be like, what's happening? Because I don't also just want to be interested in the two's relationship. I also want to be interested in the world, in the magic, and what the F's happening. And I feel like this actually gave me like question. It gave me pause. I was like, I want to know what happens. So I have one in the stack that I am keeping. I'm so excited. Next book we're checking out is Forged in Fire and Stars. Ooh, let's check out this. Oh, and I have a print because I got this in a book box. So this is also probably signed. Let's check out this first chapter. All these chapters keep starting with prologues. Clangs of steel on steel announce the arrival of the blacksmith fate. I mean, I get it because it's the forged from fire and stars, steel. That makes sense. Okay, again, this description is actually interesting to me. So we have a girl, Ara, and maybe Ara, who has been told her whole life, this is your legacy, you're going to be the blacksmith. You're going to create legendary weapons for the kingdom. But when the princess dies and the prince decides to kind of take Ara from her home, her small village, and like makes her work for him, her life gets flipped upside down. She learns about the gods themselves and more secrets about her family legacy. So I'm very interested because there's a lot already happening in just that one description. I don't know. Okay, so I read the prologue. Interested. You hear how this person who loathes their country, their king, they're like, I am going to hide the possible next blacksmith or lordsmith, I think is what they're called, and like get the F out of here, and accidental murder and things like that. I mean, it was like an interesting and enticing first kind of chapter and introduction to the world. So it would be interesting to read about the hierarchy in this world. So I think I'm gonna keep it. Okay, I'm deciding I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep it. If I don't read it within the next year, then I'll give it away. Lastly, we have Carval, which I feel like everyone and their mother used to talk about this book, and so many people loved it, so many people hated it. I want to check out the first chapter and see if I will even like the writing style of it. So I know this is about a secret carnival that comes into town. These two sisters, I think one of them disappears into it, so the other sister is like, okay, I'm gonna go save my sister and figure out what the F's going on. The first chapter is like one sentence. It took 7 years to get the letter right. Interesting. The first many pages are letters to Scarlet, or to the first many letters are to the master of the carnival, asking about her sister. This will be my final letter. I am going to be married soon. And it looks like, oh, she finally got a letter back. Okay, so technically the first chapter was just that one line. It took 7 years to get that letter right. I think I'm actually gonna keep this because I really liked this little letters of trying to find your sister. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep it. Well, I am so happy. It ended up not being a complete disappointment. I did have a few gems hidden within the pile of Unhaul books, but there is still a massive stack of books that I am going to be rehoming because I don't want to read them. Someone else will enjoy them. But yeah, I'm happy I didn't hate all of them. Gosh, I was so scared. Literally like 5 books in a row were just like meh, 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 meh. I am more content now. Yeah. Let me know if you liked this style of video. Maybe I can do this again next time I do my next Unhaul, which may be soon, depending on how many books I keep bringing in. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Check out my last Unhaul video if you missed that. And next week I will be uploading my book haul. But if you can't wait, check out my Patreon. I upload hauls and more reading vlogs and just tons of content there, and you're able to support me whilst getting extra content. So definitely check it out. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure to leave down below this emoji so I know you are the real MVP and you made it to the end of this video. And yeah, I hope this video gave you a little bit more sunshine, and I will see you in the next one.